Hello, hello, Roshi is here, and so are the balance changes. So, some pretty big changes coming. Um, they've basically obliterated every single combo deck. There's a few that still stick around, and I'll talk about those at the end of the video. But for now, let's just bump through the changes. Make a long story short, just about every single discard, like synergy card that used to be free, now costs 2. Fell Rock, you have to pay 2. Elding, you have to pay 2. These cards are still going to be viable, but they're not going to be absolutely busted like they were before. For example, in Elding's case, you're really only saving 1 power by playing him with the super secret mode. But it is going to make him a very interesting threat now as a 3 power 3/3 that makes 4/4s when you hit your opponent. It's kind of flipped. So before, his power level used to be all in on like cheating him into play, but now as a much like that's a ability, as a 3-drop, it's gonna still be just as good. Now it's easier to deal with a 3/3 than like the crazy 4/4s coming out of nowhere. So there's going to be more counterplay, which I think is a good thing. I'll talk about more about Elding later, but I think this is a great change. They go on talking about how Grenahan and Crafty Occultist got nerfed, and it did absolutely nothing to stop Elding or Fell Rock from being obscene. So they did make these changes, clear the way. You can no longer weave or fair exchange it, so I think this returns it to using the card as intended, which I think is a good thing. You can still like use Waystone Gate and Bottled Storm and stuff like that and do fun things with it, but you can't just win the game on the spot, so that's good. Eccentric Officer, being a 5-drop now means that they can't transpose for it, which is pretty huge. That was always one of the more annoying modes of the deck, is that when they transpose for Eccentric Officer, they could spend 1 power and do it at the end of your turn, and you'd have no way to interact with it before it came down. Now we have a very reasonable chance of being able to pop the Aegis, and then exploit Eccentric Officer out of the hand, and thus just completely shut down their deck. So that's pretty solid. This does mean that you can no longer play Eccentric Officer in an even-handed Golem deck, but I don't know if anyone was really doing that, so that's probably not as relevant. I think this is a good thing. The deck's still going to exist. It might slow down a turn, and even slowed down a turn, I still think it's going to be perfectly reasonable, but it won't be as fast or obnoxious as it was before. Machinations. Now here's a pretty big change. I'm pretty sure this just doubles the math. So like, sometimes before, dropping them down to 10 wasn't really enough to stop them from killing you if they had hardiness. But I'd imagine by now, I haven't done the math, but it's going to make it so that if you're attacking and you're doing stuff and like you're hitting your opponent, they're not going to be able to just Machinations combo in your face. It's not going to be as consistent. Potentially even a mid-range deck might be able to knock them down to size. All you'd really have to do if you really wanted to beat it is just like put Samuel in your market, and they probably won't be able to combo from 13. This is me talking out of my butt though. I haven't played the combo deck, I've just played against it. And I'm not sure, I know they're not going to like it. I'm sure people will still be trying it, but it's going to be a lot easier to beat. And I think that's a good thing. And then Lord Styre's Tower got a nerf. I was pretty vocally annoyed about this card for a long time, so I'm happy to see it gone. But not gone, but as a 5-drop, might be a little more reasonable. There's going to be less games where they just curve like 2-drop, 3-drop into top deck Valkyrie Warped Lord Styre's Tower, just end the game. Because that's often like really hard to come back from, where they just put a bunch of Valkyries in play and neuter your whole board, and then even if you pop the Lord Styre's Tower the next turn, you're still so far behind because they just put out a bunch of dudes and just crapped on your whole board. So happy to see this card get slowed down. I would prefer the Magic the Gathering method of just removing it from the game, but I guess I'll settle for this. And yeah, I'm happy with these changes. Basically what they mean for the game as a whole is that there's going to be less combo. Or at least if there is combo, it's going to be different combo. Like, we're going to see like some of the older combo decks. Amar, like mill through your whole deck with Warp will probably be one of the combo decks. I recently had a really cool Elding Reanimator deck that I played on a stream a couple nights ago, or yesterday. And that deck's going to be probably exactly the same. We swap out being able to put Elding into play for free, and now just like hard casting him and doing stuff with him that way, and like that's also perfectly fine. So yeah, I think this is gonna slow down a lot of the metas. You're no longer obligated to be playing like a ridiculous amount of interaction to stop your opponent from comboing. Like, you can play mid-range now and not just be too slow to beat combo. Control might be able to exist now that some of the combo decks aren't so like egregiously resilient. You know, you just have more time to react to these combo decks. I'm sure some will come in and fill the void. Like, there's always going to be combo around in some form. But it seems like more of the degenerate ones that were really hard to interact with are gone. Lord Styre's Tower got slowed down, so maybe we'll see less flying spam. And with Elding and Felrock down, we're going to see less just like turbo discard, fill your void, play units for free, and just run you over by turn 5. So, good changes. I know Felrock in particular has been annoying for a long time, and happy to see that change. So, thanks for watching, guys. I'll actually be live on Twitch at the time this video goes out on YouTube, so if you want to come check that out, check me out at twitch.tv/Roshi_is_here, and hop in the Discord if you want to discuss the changes. Thanks, guys. See ya.